Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share with you all my two favorite Star Wars film in the entire saga. I just want to throw out there that this is not including the sequels. I'm going the OG George Lucas route for this one. Also, I want to point out that these are my opinions and obviously they will be different from yours. So please don't take this to heart. I'm not hating on certain films or think one is better than the other. These are just my personal favorites and opinions. Alright, with that said, let's get on with the video. Now, let's start with the originals first. For many years, I actually debated a lot because I think each film is special in their own way, but obviously everyone has their favorites. And, spoiler alert, mine is not Empire Strikes Back. My favorite is actually Return of the Jedi. What I love about this one is the fact that it ties everything together, but also shows the final battle. I also loved that in this movie, you didn't know that if Luke was going to turn to the dark side or not. There was so much foreshadowing where Luke was struggling, but in the end, he stayed true to his roots and prevailed. My favorite scene in this entire movie is when Luke tells Palpatine without hesitation that he's a Jedi just like his father, Anakin Skywalker, once was. Because he knows deep down in his heart, Anakin is still good. The message in this film is by far the most beautiful part of it all. Yes, every Star Wars film has an underlying message or specific theme, and in this film in particular, there tends to be quite a lot. When Luke talks to Yoda, he's proven that he's honored his commitment by coming back to finish his training. However, Yoda knows Luke doesn't require it anymore and is ready to face Vader head-on. The Battle of Endor shows that when you unite with others, we achieve our goals together. It was a personal risk they all had to take to defeat the Empire, and even though there was a lot of loss in the process, they still won and succeeded. Now, the most powerful message of it all in this entire film was the power of redemption. When Palpatine nearly kills Luke, Vader makes his first selfless act in a long time. He saves his son and gets rid of Palpatine once and for all, finally ending his reign of tyranny. Even though Anakin did a lot of bad things in the past, in one single moment, he changed everything and redeemed himself because of it. We see that clearly in the end when Anakin returns as a Force ghost. Yeah, great movie. Now, let's move on to the prequels. Alrighty, I'm sure this one won't be much of a surprise, but my favorite film out of the prequels is Revenge of the Sith. There's so much I have to say about this movie, but I'll try to keep it short and not fangirl for too long. Anyway, the thing I love about this film is obviously that it's a bit more mature in terms of the story. There's a ton of different themes going on in this movie, but I'm just going to point out the main one here, which is basically the good versus evil. The thing about this theme is that it is used a lot in a ton of movies and fantasy stuff, and a lot of people look at it as a typical cliche. Yes, normally it is, but in this film in particular, it's actually not really the case. Now, the good versus evil is obviously the Jedi versus the Sith. However, we see it clearly in the beginning as the Jedi are becoming more and more blindsided by the Sith because they're just too busy worried about politics and worried about their Jedi order, like the purity and everything. Like they're not worried about like the bigger picture of what's really going on. Which makes it easy for Palpatine because he had one single goal since the start, to infiltrate from within and take over the galaxy. But it wasn't going to be that easy. He needed help by doing so, which is where Anakin comes in. When Obi-Wan discusses Anakin's involvement with Palpatine, he warns him to be careful, but due to Anakin's vulnerable state, due to his nightmare about Padme, he sadly does cave into the dark side. Palpatine knew exactly what Anakin's weakness was, and uses that to his advantage to manipulate Anakin. Unfortunately, it does become his downfall, and Anakin pays the ultimate price for it. As the story comes to a close, it ends on a dark tone, but also a hopeful one. Yes, the galaxy has fallen, but hope is not yet lost, and it will emerge in the darkest of times. Even though the Sith have won this war, it is far from over. Not just the Jedi realize that, but the citizens of the galaxy as well. Sure, they lost the battle this time, but not the war, and they will come together to rebel and band together to defeat the bad guys once more. When the time is right, of course. And that concludes my favorite films in the Star Wars saga. That's all for now, my Padawan learners. May the Force be with you, always.